This bulletin is coming to you live from Joy FM Studios here in Kokomlemle. A digital address GA0993341. Also live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi. Affiliates across the country, including A1 Radio in Bolgatanga, Pad FM in Dalmongo, and Kekeli Radio in Ho. It's on ABN Radio in London and around the world at myjoyonline.com. The news is brought to you by UMB Bank, UMB Speed Up, DigiBank, Let's Go, and Telesol 4G. Just a touch. In this edition, could Special Prosecutor Martin Amidu be in a conflict of interest position as he begins to investigate government officials in Airbus bribery scandal?
Mr. Martin Amidu was part of that government. Mr. Martin Amidu was our Minister for the Interior. He served on the Council of the Ghana Armed Forces. So it will be interesting to find out, does he know about it?
We'll hear from the head of the Media Foundation for West Africa who believes so, and also former finance minister on his role in acquiring the aircraft.
No, we didn't do the finance agreement with Airbus.
Okay.
The finance agreement was with, the banks that provided the borrowing.
Also in this edition, New Patriotic Party Central Regional Vice Chairman still in police CID custody as police investigate his role in the 500 missing excavators saga.
We are looking for the excavators that was in your yard. Who is the owner? We want you here. Who is the owner? Who is he?
Operation Vanguard commander says lack of prosecution is hindering fight against Galamsey. We'll hear from him also in this edition. Hundreds of protesters poured to the streets of Accra resisting plans by EC for new voters register.
We are not only protesting that we will not agree, but we are going to demonstrate it physically. So we will make sure that even if we have to be sacrificed, they should kill us, we will make sure it won't happen.
We'll hear from them as they insist the EC is setting a bad precedent, dangerous for Ghana's democratic credentials. And the romantic Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa says a poem to his wife Noella in the Joy FM Valentine Poem Challenge.
And your wishes shall be my command, just as we comply with the standing orders of Parliament.
And that's the parliamentarian's love poem. Do stay with us for more on the Midday News. I am Emefa Apawu. And as the controversy over the Airbus bribery scandal rages, the executive director of the Media Foundation for West Africa, Suleiman Abrahima, has raised concerns over the possibility of Special Prosecutor Martin Amidu being caught up in a conflict of interest position. President Akufo-Addo referred the matter to the Office of the Special Prosecutor for Investigations after official court documents filed by the UK Serious Fraud Office revealed bribes estimated around €5 million were paid by the aircraft manufacturer between 2011 and 2015, spanning the John Mills and John Mahama administrations. The Media Foundation Suleiman Abrahima says Mr. Amidu is conflicted in the investigation because he was a member of the government at the time who may have participated in the decision to acquire the aircraft. He spoke on the Super Morning Show.
Between 2009 till January 2012, Mr. Martin Amidu was part of that government. And in fact, at some point between January 2010 and January 2011, Mr. Martin Amidu was our Minister for the Interior. And by our constitution, he served on the Council of the Ghana Armed Forces. So it will be interesting to find out, does he know about it? I mean, in terms of the procurement, I'm talking about 2010. And before the 2010, if I'm right, I think he served as an advisor in the office of the president.
Right.
So what does he know about it? And then after leaving as Minister for Interior, he became the Attorney General and Minister for Justice. I think in government contracts and in big government procurements involving international bodies, certainly the Attorney General must have some knowledge. And so I based on these, I would say that perhaps Martin himself is conflicted in this matter until perhaps he makes it clear that yes, he was in government at the time, held key positions, including being on the Ghana Armed Forces Council, but was not privy to a decision to acquire aircraft for our military.
Executive Director of the Media Foundation for West Africa, Suleiman Abrahima, there speaking on the Super Morning Show. Now, Member of Parliament for North Tongue, Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, says although the concern is legitimate, Mr. Amidu must be afforded all the support in investigating the matter. He explains why.
Let us allow investigation to continue.
Is Mr. Mahama government official one?
So far as I'm concerned, he is not. He is not. I mean, I know for a fact that President Mahama has always conducted himself above board. If you look at some of the facts in the deposition, it is really surprising that a government official one will be meeting these people and
who is government official one
and all of that. We need to know. We need to know. I don't have a hunch, and I don't want to engage, in speculative work. I would rather that we all engage with the relevant authorities, and we should give all the support that Martin Amidu needs. People have raised concerns. Suleiman Abraham has said that about
he could be in a position of conflict
of interest and all of that. That is a genuine concern. But I'll say that, look, let's be willing to gloss over it. This is somebody who, even when he was in government, has shown that he can be independent as is expected of the Attorney General.
That's enough. Tong MP Samuel Okudzeto Blackwa there speaking with Daniel Dazi on the Super Morning Show. Meanwhile, former Finance Minister Seth Tekpe has been explaining his outfit's role in acquiring the aircraft. He spoke to Joy Business editor Nova Nakwa-Hayford.
Remember that we do the finances, which we take to Finance Committee of Parliament for the borrowing. Because I was just explaining, how the flows come in and you can borrow against it, like Terminal 3 and all that. So this was something that we had done, right? But when it comes to the physical aspect, right, of the contract, then it's a sector ministry.
Okay, so
because we don't have military tacticians and whatever.
Okay, so when it came to a contract to be able to acquire the aircraft,
as with all contracts, you always prepare according to the finance agreement.
So the finance agreement is what you were
the works contract
between Ghana and Airbus.
No, we didn't do the finance agreement with Airbus.
Okay.
The finance agreement was with the banks that provided the borrowing.
The banks that are supposed to provide the borrowing.
Airbus was providing the aircraft. It's just like Sinopec.
Okay. So yours was to see to the due diligence and ensure that you are getting value for money.
Yes, of course. To make sure that yes. And to make sure that that's the whole finance, anything to do with financing. But when it comes to the acquisition of the aircraft and whatever, it's just like a bridge contract. It's just like a road contract. It's just like, the expertise lies in the sector ministry. I don't have enough information to go into the specifics.
That's the former Finance Minister Seth Tekpe there. Now let's head to the CID headquarters because the new Patriotic Party Central Regional Vice Chairman Horace Ekoewusi is reportedly still in police CID custody as investigations into his role in the 500 missing excavators continue. It follows a request by the Environment Minister for the police to probe the governing party executive for his role in carting excavators seized by Operation Vanguard to the designated areas for safekeeping. The police in a special operation allegedly traced 34 of the missing excavators to an undisclosed location in Tema. Here's a news desk report.
So 21, 22, 20, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 33.
Voice of the police officer who led the special exercise tracking the excavators brought to this yard. The yard measures the size of a football field. On the front gate is the inscription, New Washing Bay. The yard has been taken over by Wees. I see one broken down excavator, 4 heavy-duty equipment batteries, and an abandoned vehicle parked in the yard. Interrogating suspects during the special exercise, it came to light that the excavators were allegedly brought to the yard by the MPP Central Regional Vice Chairman Horace Ekoewusi, but all were released except one.
Yes, we are in your yard. We need you here.
What's the problem?
We are looking for the excavators that was in your yard.
The owners have come for it.
Who is the owner? We want you here. Who is the owner?
The person who wants to see.
Who is he?
It's called
Echo came for it.
Adam Online reported that police preliminary investigation suggests Mr. Ewusi authorized the release of the excavators parked at this yard.
So upon arresting the yard owner, any catcher and say Ekoewusi na babe some machines. So we proceed any fire call soon the other guys near the police station.
He is currently undergoing interrogation at the CID headquarters in Accra over his role in some missing excavators and other equipment seized from illegal mining operators. His arrest follows a request by the Minister of Environment, Science and Technology, Professor Frimpong Boateng.
Right now, we have about 140 or so in our custody. We were told that 500 had been seized and given to the district assemblies and so on. Later on, when we went out to check, the number was far more than that. So we sent people out there to talk to the district assembly, and we got Vanguard involved, and most of them had disappeared.
According to the minister, Mr. Ewuzi was contracted to cut excavators and other vehicles and pieces of equipment seized by Operation Vanguard to designated areas for safekeeping. Professor Boateng said the ministry had received information that he sent an unknown number of equipment to unauthorized locations, including one in Tema.
That was the news desk report. We are joined on the line for the latest by Adom FM's Kwame Enum, who is at the police CID. Kwame, you've been at the CID all morning. What have you been able to pick up? Hello, Kwame.
Hello,
yes, I'm asking what you've been able to pick up, Kwame.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Kwame. What can you report?
Hello,
I can hear you. Okay, it looks like we'll have to rectify that. Kwame is unable to hear me. We'll reconnect to Kwame Enum and get the latest from there. Meanwhile, Commander of the Anti-Galamsey Security Task Force, Operation Vanguard, is advocating establishment of a fast-track court for speedy prosecution of illegal mining cases. Colonel William Norte says the missing link in the fight against the menace is lack of prosecution, which is thwarting the efforts of the task force. He tells Love FM in Kumasi only about 5% of over 2,700 arrested have been convicted.
When we talk about prosecution, it has been the weakest link in this fight. We have arrested so many people and convictions have been very few. And because the court processes are slow, these people are on bail, the cases are adjourned, and while the cases are being adjourned, they are in the field mining. And sometimes you arrest someone who is already facing court in the field again, which shows that they don't even care. They are so brazen. There's something that needs to be done about it. We have proposed a fast-track system to deal with these cases. We might need some kind of military-grade drone, which we can put perpetually on the water bodies to be able to pick coordinates of where all these dredges are. Some of them are deep inside forest reserves, and it's difficult to actually locate them very easily. But a drone which can pick heat signatures can pick these locations, and then we can move there straight. At this time of the year, you can't put any navigable vessel on the rivers because the rivers are so dry, rocks are all out, and we have just got a lot of our outboard motors damaged as a result of the low level of water and also the rocks, which are protruding now because the water level is low.
You have Colonel William Norte. He's the commander of the Anti-Galamsey Security Task Force. My colleague Kwame Enum is at the police CID. We'll try again and get a better connection to him. He joins us now. Kwame, what can you report?
All right, John, the CID has started the second phase of the questioning, and this morning what the CID is doing is to lead him to his residence for further search. He is also being asked to produce inventory documents of the excavators. This morning, he was kept yesterday. He was not granted bail. So his lawyers came in this morning to demand that he's granted bail. But the CID say not until they are done with their plans. Now, there's a special task force from the ministry which is leading this whole initiative. They are also asking that any member of the public that has dealt with him in connection to say you have paid him money to retrieve excavators that belongs to you, and he didn't actually supply or give it back to you, you should, as a matter of importance, visit the CID office to produce receipt of monies that you have paid to him for further investigation.
Well, you have my colleague Kwame Enum monitoring events at the police CID. Now let's hit the streets. Members of the Inter-Party Resistance Against the New Voters Register have this morning been demonstrating in Accra as part of plans initiated towards the stopping of the Electoral Commission from going ahead with the New Voters Register. Hundreds of the demonstrators clad in red attires marched through the principal streets of Accra, wooden placards with various inscriptions. Top NDC officials and leaders of the other parties are among the hundreds of protesters who poured onto the streets. Some of them threatened to go to all lengths to get the EC to rescind its decision. Listen to Samuel Atubiga.
There is no way we will accept a new voter register in this country. The only way we will take her serious, Jean Mensa, she should annul the 2016 election. That is the only way we will agree that if the system that was able to elect the president that gave her the authority that she's trying to disrupt the security of this country, she should announce the election 2016. And then Charlotte Osei made sure that Nana Addo was a president to have her freedom in this country and her peace. We are also sending a signal to her. She has to declare John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, as president of this country, whether hook or crook, 2020, to also have her peace and her freedom in this country. The EC system is not like, excuse my language, with your indulgence, that you can say, oh, my part is so.
Others argue the EC's timing for the compilation of a new register is problematic and can plunge the country into chaos. MP for Tamale North constituency Al-Hassan Saibu Suini holds the view the proposed cost for the exercise is unreasonable.
Those obsolete machines, again, technically have been proven to show that they do not compromise the data in any way. And so that is why it is needless to have to compile a new data that will not only put burden on the political parties, but also on the average Ghanaian who already has his data with the Electoral Commission that can be transferred into whatever system that it wants to do it. Because see, once this process is allowed to go on, the average voter, the average citizen may have to travel, at his own cost several miles at the risk of the accidents on our roads, to queue, waste time, abandon businesses, and just to acquire a register that is already with the Electoral Commission. So we are saying that, look, if machines have to be changed, we are not against that. We only will want to know that.
Tamale North MP Al-Hassan Saibu Suini. Let's get some updates from my colleague Komla Adum, who is with the protesters. Where are you now, Komla?
And if we are around the MTN offices around Rage, that is where the protesters have gotten to after presenting that petition to the Jubilee House.
And it was event-free, a presentation at the Jubilee House?
That's correct. So a former Western Regional Minister, now the Minister of State and the Presidency, Dr. Kwekwe, received the petition from the leadership of the Inter-Party Resistance Against the New Voters Register, Bernard Mona, Chairman of the NDC, Samuel Kusuampopo, General Secretary of the party, John Smith. They presented the petition to Dr. Kwekwe right in front of the Jubilee House on behalf of the Presidency.
And where are you heading now?
The protesters are currently headed for the Electoral Commission offices, and so if you get onto the Ring Road or the Ridge Road, you see a sea of red and black individuals. Congestion all over the city. It's significant. So there's numbers of people who have showed up. They say they left their offices, they left their homes to be part of it. Symbolic ceremony to pile pressure on the Electoral Commission to just do one thing, to back down their decision to compile that new register.
We can hear from the national chairman of the NDC, Samuel Ofusu-Ampofo.
And by extension, the President of the Republic of Ghana, that the peace of this country is paramount to us. And we have realized that the path that the EC is treading is a very dangerous path that can lead to chaos, confusion, and anarchy in this country. We are saying that the timing is not good. We are barely 9 months into our election, and you are now in the process of procurement. Before you get your items, you assemble them. When are you going to do a pilot of the system, the new system that you are going to use, to ascertain its efficiency and efficacy? These are issues that everybody who knows and understands how the electoral process works will understand.
You heard that the national chairman of the NDC, Samuel Ofusu-Ampofo. Now let's talk about the coronavirus, because it's topical in Parliament. And Health Minister Kweku Agyeman has told the House the country's health system is on high alert to avert possible entry of the virus into the country. He's currently on the floor addressing MPs on the preparedness of the country. Joseph Opoku-Gakpo is there for us. Joseph, what has he been saying?
So he just disclosed in his speech to MPs that government has allocated an amount of 2.5 million Ghana cedis as startup capital, startup funds, as he describes it, to implement what he says is the phase when it comes to preparing the nation to avert any possible outbreak. And he's been disclosing that out of that amount, we'll see a situation where 10,000 protective gear for the various frontline healthcare officials will be imported into the country soon, so that then they would be able to help deal with the situation. And that there would also be the purchase of insurance for all the frontline health persons who would actually be involved. He's been disclosing that what he describes as a multi-sectorial task force has actually been set up will help with the monitoring, and as well, various treatment centers. 4 of them have been designated to help ensure that any possible case is treated. Currently, the Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs is on the floor of the House, who just started speaking about a minute ago after the Health Minister completed his speech, also giving MP some assurances on what is being done at the level of the Foreign Affairs Ministry and internationally to avert any possible spread of the disease to this country.
There is no confirmed case in Ghana as yet. On 30th January 2020, the World Health Organization declared the outbreak as a public health emergency of international concern. The incubation period, that is the time from exposure to onset of symptoms, ranges from 2 to 14 days, and there is evidence that the infection may be contagious during and prior to the onset of symptoms and possibly also several days after recovery.
And that's the Health Minister, Kweku Ajuman-Menu, and like my colleague said, the Foreign Affairs Ministry is also on the floor currently, updating Parliament on our preparedness. But let's head to the Kotoka International Airport, where the National Coordinator of Port Health, Dr. Dennis Lai, has been briefing the media. He says that the National Port Health says it would hand over to the security agencies passengers who fail to disclose accurate information at the country's points of entry. Health Desk Editor Fred Smith joins us on the line. Fred, what have you seen?
Well, at the Kotoka International Airport, I visited here last week, but today I'm seeing a step up in the surveillances. Also, in addition to the scanners that have been provided to check people's temperatures and the forms that people fill, they are also displaying information on the coronavirus disease and what you can do to stay safe, what you can do if you feel you've come into contact with a surface that's infected. Now we ask the question about what they would do to ensure that if people disclose wrong information on the forms, what they do about that to track them in case there's the need for that. Now they disclose that anybody who does this, they intend to hand them over to the security agencies to handle that matter because this becomes a security issue. Dr. Dennis Lai is the National Coordinator of Port Health, and he says that will not be tolerated at all.
The questions are there. Provide phone numbers. Our staff will verify the phone number. Fred, if you call me as a pressman and I don't want to talk to you, I may decide not to pick your call. So that is a reality. But there are other checks in place. So for example, every Ghanaian who has a SIM card is supposed to be registered in your name. There's supposed to be some information. We can use other means to track. We want to count on the general public to give us appropriate information. But people with ulterior motives, I'm afraid it's one of the things when it becomes a security issue and we would have to get the appropriate security agency involved.
So is it to say that people you find lying about this will be handed over to the security agencies?
We would encourage people to give us the right information. So far we haven't had anybody giving us conflicting information, and we are hoping it doesn't get to that. But I think that if people intentionally give wrong information about criminality and their security personnel here, we will get them involved in this. These are security issues, and I don't think that we would deal with that.
That's the National Coordinator of Port Health, Dr. Dennis Lai, speaking to Joy News' Health Desk Editor Fred Smith. We'll take a quick break here on the Midday News. When we return, National Peace Council charges the two main political parties to adopt and fully implement the roadmap designed by the Technical Committee to deal with the threat of party militia. And also, we'll hear from the North Tongue MP Samuel Okujeto Blakwa as he takes up the challenge to write a love poem using his profession.
And your wishes shall be my command, just as we comply with the standing orders of Parliament.
UMB was established in 1972 as the premier bank for the corporate and private sector in Ghana. From our very beginning, as the only Ghanaian bank serving all categories of businesses, we set a standard for excellence and innovation. Over the past 45 years, we've built a financially healthy and strong bank, demonstrated our commitment to our customers and to growing businesses, and exhibited originality and innovation at every turn. At UMB, our focus is built around people, service, products, and technology. These are the key to our present success and our future triumphs. At UMB, we're poised to make a difference not only with our customers, but also in the banking industry. We invite you to share in our future. Our future starts now with you.
Hey everybody, to go back. I'm inviting you all on the 14th of February to come through to the Labadi Beach Hotel. It's going to be 7 p.m. It is the Love Experience. Come along, let's have fun, let's enjoy, and come meet me in Komna as we give you amazing performances. 14th of February, Labadi Beach Hotel, 7 p.m. See you all there.
To buy your tickets for the Love Experience with Becca and Kwabena via Momo, just dial *920*50#. Select the buy ticket option and select option 3 to purchase it.
You made me so beautiful. Shed your dye on me. Made my life so meaningful. Shed your dye on me.
Time now for sports on the midday news. Oreku, what do we have?
Prince George Kofi has resigned as Accra Great Olympics coach after his side suffered a 1-0 defeat against Wafo on match day 7. Kofi met on Monday with the Olympics management, who accepted his decision to leave. A club official saying to say has confirmed the news today.
Our coach actually attended his resignation letter as at 12 noon yesterday and cited personal reasons for his leaving. Like I was telling the sister station, we are putting in measures to ensure that the team is focused for the King Faisal match. They have plans in place to also get a replacement as soon as possible. So in the course of the week, I believe we will outdoor a new coach. I would like the fans to know that there's no cause for alarm. We are on course and we are going to Kumasi to beat King Faisal.
Now the Wonder Boys are 14th on the table with 7 points from 7 games. And joining me in the studio is Mubarak to help us understand what exactly is going on at the Olympics. Is 1 month, 2 coaches. Should fans be worried?
Well, I think fans should be worried because looking at the reason why they sack or their manager Kofi has resigned, they are not definite on their decision. We don't know the reason why. So they are coming to appoint third coach in 3 months, and that is absolutely uncalled for in the Ghana Premier League for the club and of course for the league. Now you talk of the reasons why Prince Kofi has resigned. We don't know yet, but there are some speculations that he's not been paid because after their first coach Isaac Niyama resigned, they didn't release any statement confirming the appointment of Prince Kofi. So they took him as a caretaker manager. He's in and he's now gone, citing personal reasons. So we don't know yet. And also, we talk about the transfers of the club. The coaches demanded players. We all don't know the reason why they're not getting the players. So I think there's a cause for alarm.
Certainly, there's a cause for alarm as the Olympics would be facing Ken Faisal. We'll be getting more details on this in our subsequent bulletins. Back to you, Emefa.
Thank you very much, Oreku Oli Konson. Now, the National Peace Council has charged the 2 main political parties to adopt and fully implement the roadmap designed by the Technical Committee to deal with the threat of party militia. The National Peace Council suspended its dialogue with the political parties to allow the Technical Committee prepare a detailed roadmap with the input of the political parties to tackle the menace. Chairman of the Peace Council, Reverend Emmanuel Asante, in his opening remarks observed that failure to adopt the roadmap will be a disruption of the entire process. My colleague Kwesi Parker Wilson is monitoring the meeting. He joins us on the line. Do we have a consensus just yet?
Not yet. And the Peace Council just finished with the presentation of the roadmap, and they are taking the remarks of the political parties, and the NDC spokesperson, Alessandro, is now on the floor. And he's raising concerns that if you look at the recommendation, there are 22, 4 got to do with the political parties, 18 would have to do with the Electoral Commission, the government, and all of that. But all these representatives are not here. And so what it means is that even though the roadmap is fantastic, in his view, it wouldn't be effective as far as its implementation is concerned. So that was what he was saying before I walked out of the hall. So that's the concern the NDC is raising, that the roadmap clearly won't be effective.
You have my colleague Kwesi Parker Wilson monitoring that meeting there. Now, North Tongue MP Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa may often be heard talking everything from politics to international relations. Well, it appears there's more he may be excellent at, which is love. After a studio interview today on the Super Morning Show, the MP was asked to say a poem to his wife and the love of his life, Noella. Listen to how he interlaces it with his parliamentary terms.
You would always have the final say in my life, like the Speaker of Parliament. I shall subject myself to your wishes as though they were rulings of the Privileges Committee. I will cherish our memories and keep them forever like the Hansard. I shall pay attention to your emotional and material needs like our daily scrutiny of the votes and proceedings. And your wishes shall be my command, just as we comply with the standing orders of Parliament.
Wow.
I tried, didn't I?
Oh, you tried.
And tickets are still on sale for the Labadi Beach night of wining and dining with that couple with 700 Ghana cedis and then 2,000 Ghana cedis for bed and breakfast on the beach. So please get your ticket now. Now, 17 years of journalism added little to his life, and he says his years in acting have not been any better. Veteran actor Kofi Ajololo believes all these come down to producers' failure to pay him in full for roles he played in their movies. In spite of this, however, some bloggers claim the actor may be worth over $800,000. Listen to Kofi Ajololo.
Some of the producers in Ghana here, they should respect themselves. All the big producers in Ghana, some of them, they owe me 2,000, 3,000, 1,000. My actors, out the whole Ghana here, the actors, they know what I'm talking about. Producers don't pay. The producers owe actors. You ask for the young actors, they don't even pay them. Because of the passion they have for acting, they come and do the work, they don't pay them.
Kofi Ajololo then has become the talk on social media. Maps, what are people saying?
All right, Isaac Ofosu says, Kofi, you've been in the industry for more than a decade and expect you to be in the position of a producer or a director. And this one is from Quicker and Show, who says, truth is hard, but we need to speak it. I wish he can stand on his feet and defend this statement wherever it is. And Governor Jay says, some of you aren't even proud of your father's hustle. The last one is from Francis, says, I commend you people.
And thanks so much for your company here on the Midday News. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. I am Emefa Apawu.